Hi, John.
Hi.
Welcome back. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
So you've had a unique place in the Christian world because you've pastored one church for 52 years. And thank you for your ministry, by the way. In your life as a pastor, what have you observed to be the biggest danger facing this church? Besides the egos of California politicians, I guess. You know.
Politicians are no threat to this church. Any politician who thinks he can threaten the Lord Jesus Christ, who's the head of the church, has really got delusions of grandeur. There are some who think they can. The only threats to this church are internal. They're not external. The worse it gets outside, the stronger the church gets. In the last year and a half, with all that's going on the outside, this church has just gotten stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. We're clearer now on what the church is. We're clearer now on what we believe. And against the backdrop of all the chaos, the church flourishes. This is how the Lord purges the church. And what I was saying to Andrew about the critical race thing, that's a way the Lord is purging out weak churches. You get on the wrong side of that, and you're out of the picture. So I think all the stuff on the outside that comes at the church, the Lord uses that because we need to count it all joy when we fall into various trials, because the testing of our faith has a perfecting work, right? When we're weak, we're strong. That we become stronger. So the only real threat to the church is inside. Even Satan is no threat to us. Satan is no threat to us on the outside, because he is no match for the Lord of the church. Where the church has to be careful is when it shifts its allegiance from the Lord of the church to any other Lord, to any other philosophy, any other gospel, any other anything. We are so consumed with the primacy and the priority of the Lord Jesus Christ here. And as long as we are focused on Christ, the Spirit of God is changing us into His image, we have nothing to fear. The least thing you have to fear is some group of politicians. They are the ones that should be terrified. They should be terrified. Churches need to stand up and tell them that. That's part of the responsibility of the church. Peter said judgment begins at the house of God. That doesn't just mean that God judges His church. That's not the point. But rather that judgment comes from the church. But the evangelical church is so bent on wanting the world to like the church that they do not exercise the judgment role that the church is to have in society. While politicians are threatening us, the church needs to rise up and talk to them about the real threat. The real threat. The real threat is God. They need to fear God. We read Psalms on Sunday morning, and how many times do we read about what God is going to do to the wicked nations, the evil nations? They're not going to get away with anything. They are no threat to the church unless the church abandons its submission to the Lord Jesus Christ and tries to please the world. Then something like this recent issue comes along and those churches don't meet, and that's a blessing. So I think the Lord uses these things on the outside to purify the church. The only thing that threatens the church is the failure to be totally committed to Christ as head of the church, which is the reason we kept meeting, right? I don't fear the politicians. I have absolutely zero fear of any politician. I have zero fear of any bug, any virus, any whatever. but I fear my Lord. But it's a reverent fear. It's a fear of love, and the whole world can tell us not to be the church, and I'll say we're going to be the church. We're going to be the church. Even if the statistics were different and more people were ill and more people died, all the more reason to be the church. To be the church. So all the threats in the life of the church are on the inside, which is why the first instruction in the New Testament to the church is that if somebody's in sin, go to that person, confront that person. If they don't listen, take 2 or 3 witnesses, confront them again. If they don't listen, tell the church to confront them. Why? Because it's the sin in the church, not outside the church, that corrupts the church. Okay? I got on the soapbox, but thank you.